Hello, my name is Miss Jones. I teach elementary school math, and welcome to my channel, Miss Math Jones. Today, we're going to be working on our third grade Eureka Module 6, Lesson 10 homework. The objective for our homework is that we can explore customary weight units and generate measurement data. All that means that we're going to be learning more about the general weight of pounds and ounces, and we're going to be using that information to answer questions. Let's get started. Number one says, choose three objects at your home that make these sentences true. Now, you can choose any three objects at your home. Just make sure that they make sense to make these sentences true, okay? So, the three objects that I chose in my home to make the sentences true are as follows. So, for letter A, I said the weight of a microwave is more than 1 pound, which is true. For letter B, I said the weight of a can of soup is about the same as 1 pound. And for letter C, I said the weight of a hanger is less than 1 pound. Now, you do not have to choose the same objects that I chose. I really want you to choose objects around your home that are different from mine, but you can kind of use my objects as examples of the general weight, okay? Now, moving on to number two. Number two says match each object with its approximate weight. So it's not going to be the exact weight, but it's about or approximately that weight. So that very first picture, you may not know what that is. That is a very old cell phone. Um, I'm sure you've never seen one of these before. If you have, it was probably, I don't know where you would have seen this, but it's a very old cell phone. So that very old cell phone weighs approximately or about 7 ounces. Okay, it's a very small, older cell phone, and I'm sure somebody's going to ask me about it in class. The next picture, I believe that's about 12 pennies. And so pennies are about 0.10 ounce. Okay, so 12 pennies would be approximately like a little over an ounce. Okay, I'll write in an ounce. That third picture is a book. The book would be about 1 pound, approximately 1 pound. And that's a dog. And the dog would be approximately 10 pounds. All right. Now, as always, I hope that you answer these questions before you watch the video. And you're using the video right now just to check your answers. Now, if you need to pause your video to make sure that the answers that you already answered are correct, or the questions that you already answered are correct, go ahead and do so now. Number 3 says, Ashley picked 57 pounds of apples. The scale shows the weight of the apples left after her mom made some apple pies. How many pounds of apples did Ashley's mom use to make the pies? Okay, well, first, we need to look at the scale to see how many pounds was left. So it's pointing at 35. So that means that it was 35 pounds left. Now, anytime you see the word left, that means you're subtracting. So I'm going to write down 57 because that's how many she started with, 57 pounds. And then I'm going to subtract the 35 pounds that she has left. And as always, I start with my ones place. 7 minus 5 is, that's right. If you said 2, you're absolutely correct. And 5 minus 3 is good. If you said 2, absolutely correct. So that means that Ashley's mom used 22 pounds of apples to make the pies. Now, If you need to pause your video to make sure the work that you've already completed matches my screen, go ahead and do so now. Moving on to number 4. Number 4 said, Jim weighed his dog and found that the dog weighed 3 times as much as his kitten. If his kitten weighs 64 ounces, how much does the dog weigh? Okay, let's see. Jim weighed his dog and found that the dog weighed 3 times as much as his kitten. So I would write the dog equals 3 times the kitten. So I can find out the weight of the dog by multiplying 3 times the kitten. Now, I'm going to keep reading because I wrote down notes for my first sentence. So I'm going to go on to my next sentence to see if there's anything else that I can write down that would help me solve this problem. So the next sentence says, if his kitten weighs 64 ounces. Okay, so now I'm going to write kitten equals 64. How much does his dog weigh? So I wrote down notes that tells me everything as far as the information that I found in my word problem. And I can use that information to figure out how much the dog weighs. So dog equals 3 times kitten. So if kitten equals 64, then I can find the weight of the dog by multiplying 3 times 64. All right, well, let's set it up. My big number should be at the top. So 64 times 3. All right, I'm going to multiply 64 times 3. What is 3 times 4? That's right, it's 12. So I write my 2 in my ones place, and I carry my 1 over the tens place. Now, what is 3 times 6? Perfect, 18. So I'll go ahead and write my 18 down. Now, I still have that 1 over the tens place, which means I need to add a whole 10. And I solve, starting with my ones place. What's 2 plus 0? Right, it's 2. And 8 plus 1? Perfect, it's 9. And 1 plus 0? Good, it's 1. So that means that the dog's weight is equal to 192 ounces. Now, at the bottom, there's an extra challenge question, which means it's a question to challenge you to see if you can solve it, right? So it says, how many pounds does Jim's kitten weigh? All right, how many pounds does Jim's kitten weigh? Remember that 1 pound is the same as 16 ounces. All right, so if his kitten weighs 64 ounces, then I should be able to divide 64 by 16 and get the weight in pounds. Now, it's a challenge question, which means I'm not going to tell you how to solve it because it's supposed to be a challenge. I pause because I wanted to make you think I was going to go through that problem. I'm not. It says extra challenge. So I challenge you to try to figure it out and let me know the answer that you received when you see me in class. So again, you take the weight of the kitten, which is 64 ounces, and you divide it by 16, and that would give you the weight in pounds. So go ahead and try that challenge. Now, as far as question number 4, if you need to pause your video to make sure the work on your paper matches my screen, go ahead and do so now. Congratulations, Module 6, Lesson 10 homework is now complete. I hope you tried to complete it on your own before checking your work using the video. As always, I hope this video has helped you to check your work on your homework and to understand Lesson 10 a little bit better. I hope you have a great rest of your night or afternoon whenever you're watching this video. And be sure to remember, when completing math problems, always check your work at least 2 to 3 times, just to make sure that your math is mathing. This is Miss Jones saying bye. Until next time.